Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ardennes Forest. We're here at Spa-Francorchamps for the Formula Virtual Racing 2 Hours of Spa, one of the most anticipated races in the calendar year for these drivers and teams. We are here at Spa-Francorchamps. You've joined us as the first car is just starting his qualifying lap. That is Seb Millsy in the Nissan Racing machine. We are getting started just here at Spa. Thank you for joining us. My name is Evan Dalton and I am alone in the commentary box today. However, during the evening we will have plenty of teams and drivers popping in and out of the commentary box here for a quick chat with us. We are live from Spa, as we said, qualifying just underway. You are looking at the Mint Nissan Racing, sponsored by the Mint Company, heading through Lake Home for his first qualifying lap of the day. Qualifying first here, and then the second stint. We have a 15 car field. However, one car will not be competing in qualifying. They are stuck in the pit lane. Unfortunately, it will be a P15 start for the PS Racing Porsche. But as we said, it is Seb Mills we're on board with here for qualifying. Well, we'll pop on board with the Nissan for a short moment. Lovely run through there, heading through the flat out section in a Formula 1 car, not flat out in one of these cars. Bit of a lift through Blanchimont for Seb Mills as he heads through. Very experienced driver at the wheel of that Nissan. Definitely one to watch for the day. If you do want to check out the list, is available on all our social channels, the full entry list and spotter's guide. As crossed the line, it will be the first lap of the day. It is Seb Mills. Crossed the line, it will be a 2 minutes 16.4. Some improvements will most certainly be made on that one, but that is a decent lap. Bit of a tussle across the line here between Carlo Durante of the Prema AMR team, and that is Victor Larsson. The Swede goes third, but it is Legend Rosenberg who goes second. Jack Redmond, one of the most experienced drivers here in the league, will currently sit on the pole. That is a 2 minute 15.2. That is an excellent lap for him. Jackson Turner had a bit of a mistake on his lap there. Some more people completing times. One of the most experienced drivers on the grid though today will be this man, Ridwan Hamza, the Serbian/Australian. He will certainly be one to watch for the remainder of the race. He's in the Bono Racing 1 machine. His teammate Vestigo Badi, of course, will be another man to watch in the later stint. We'll stick with him through Blanchimont, see what he can do. He's had some good times in the practice sessions heading up to this race for sure. Let's see what the Bono Racing 1 machine can do through Blanchimont on the bus stop chicane, two of the most famous corners here at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. This lap is on the Racing Soft tyres. Of course, 2 tyres available for this Grand Prix. The Racing Softs, the Racing Super Softs. Super Softs being quicker, however, they will not last very long, especially on these tyre wear settings. Ridwan's second spot cannot beat the Irishman on pole position, whose birthday is today. He's in flying form, and Ridwan not even close to beating that time from the Irishman on provisional pole position. That is a very nice lap. Legend Rosenberg in the Honda NSX. If you couldn't tell by the logo, runs a little bit wide through Pujon. Very difficult corner there. That's that lap done. We can see Lewis McWilliam flying past, his teammate in the F1 tier, of course. Them two have been ever so dominant in that field, as that is Seb Mills off on the left hand side, only qualifying here, so if they do have to back out of a lap, it is nothing too major. The Marlboro sponsored car here for Ben Driscoll, late entry into the race. He is for the SC Turkey Sports team. Very late entry. They had to replace 2 drivers very late in this one, so he's hopped in the car, going to give it his all. Probably hasn't got too much practice getting used to that machine. The Audi is a very tricky car to get used to, especially on this game, as he could run into some trouble here. He has run into some trouble. This is not a perfect lap for Ben Driscoll. He is struggling. He's going to serve a penalty there. If you're unsure the way penalties do work in this game, it is a slowdown, so you can slow, and he's gone wide at the bus stop. meaning his next lap will be a little bit compromised. Ridwan Hamza is currently purple. Lewis McWilliam has improved. You'll see in the bottom left hand of your screen when a driver does improve. That's Jackson Turner, who's gone into third for the British Empire Racing team. You'll certainly be able to spot them one out of the crowd as the British team there. As you can see the Union Jack fly across the circuit. Ridwan still improving on his time. This could be very good. That is Salem Haddad. Has set a 2:18 there, the Lebanon representative in the race. Ridwan is improving here. 3/10 would not be enough to take pole, however, but that is seemingly a purple sector. So we'll see what the Bono Racing 1 machine can do. He's made a mistake somewhere. You can see just by the damage on the front left of the car under the left headlight. There's a little bit of damage on that. So that could have compromised his lap a little bit. The way damage works here will repair itself over time. That is due to the drivers making mistakes. They want to make it too unfair. Bit of a slide into the bus stop chicane. It's not the best run for him. We'll have to wait and see. There's been a crash somewhere. That is Thomas Mengen's not very happy. And that's Ridwan on provisional pole position with a 2:14.7. 1 minute 44 to go. This is the last lap for almost all drivers here. And there's a couple of interesting ones. Victor Larson you'd expect to be up there for the Funny F1 Racing team. He's down the back of the order. Leroy definitely expected to be up there as well in the Voluta Racing team. Of course, a lot of fans of that one. There's a lot of fans of Leroy and Jonah Grech in that machine. That is a popular entry here for the 2 hours of Spa. Some more drivers though. Let's see what Jack Redmond is doing. Jack has been on the pace here with Ridwan, although he has a mammoth task to do. He could get one more lap in here. Ridwan certainly will not. So Jack Redmond will have a bit of an advantage, and he knows it. Slowing down, he knows it. He's going to get a bit of a slipstream from Lewis McWilliam, longtime friend in front. Lewis driving the Avengers Racing team car. Both team owners, obviously, of that one. Very much Avengers fans, that is why they have named that. But the slipstreaming going on behind Legend Rosenberg. Slipstreaming Jackson Turner in the British Empire car. He is currently in third spot. He'll be looking to improve. There goes Victor Larsson up to third spot, the Swede. Very good in tricky conditions, as you could tell. But that is Lewis McWilliam, not so good in the GT cars. He was saying he has been proven wrong. That is a good lap from him. Ben Driscoll has gone 7th position. That is good from Ben as well. Salem Haddad putting the Beasting Racing machine up there as well. That's a good performance from Salem. He was a bit disappointed with his practice times. He is certainly not disappointed in that one. Let's have a look at this fantastic Castrol livery. Represented on an old rally car, if you could not tell. Leroy has slotted himself up as well. 16.9, very close qualifying here in Spa. It is very close. And speaking of close, look at the gap between second and third. You can see on the top left hand side of your screen 0.026. It's a 2/10 improvement for the Toyota Supra of Bono Racing 2 in there. That's Brendan White, my normal commentary partner here in the league, who's gone for a 2.20.9. Definitely improve in the Dutch Irish Esports machine. You'll see why they've called it that. It is Skull and Crossbones as the team spells out D-I-E. But Jack Redmond not looking too shabby here as he heads down towards Puhan, on board with the Supra. A fantastic cockpit here. This is what he's seeing. He heads down to Puhan. Almost a mistake, very late on the brakes. This car is being pushed to the absolute maximum around the Ardennes Forest here. The 7.004 kilometers Spa-Francorchamps circuit, many famous corners. Now, we didn't get to race in F1 this year, of course. It was a disappointing one not to see the famous Belgian Grand Prix. Of course, that's happened on a few occasions. There was the bomb threat in 2006 in Belgium. That's when that one did not happen. But this race has gone ahead so far. We're here in qualifying the final lap. Lewis McWilliam, is he up on his time? It was a 2:15.3 for him. That was a fantastic lap for sure. Ridwan Hamza is backed off. He feels it is enough. We'll see, is it enough? Jack Redmond is flying through Blanchimont. We'll have to see what Victor Larsson is doing. He's crossing the start-finish line now. Is it an improvement for the Swede? It is, but it's not positional, so that's not good enough for him. Lewis McWilliam crossed the line. Can he get on the pole position? No, he cannot. Can Jack Redmond? No, cannot beat Lewis in front. Disappointing. A lot of laps seem to have gone astray there. There's a lot of cars going slow on the circuit. Leroy Van Schendel is not one of them. The experienced Dutchman flying in his Mercedes. It is not going well for a lot of drivers. Bill Nowick has improved. Thomas Mengens has improved to a 15.9. That's up there. That's a very good lap. Here comes Leroy through the bus stop chicane for the final time in qualifying. We'll see, he's backed off. That will not be a competitive time. Thomas Mengens went 7th in the end there. Interesting qualifying, but the man we all expected, Ridwan Hamza, has pulled one out of the bag, and it is pole position for the Bono Racing 1 Toyota Supra of Ridwan Hamza. Ridwan, of course, 3 in the morning for him. So he is on excellent form to be setting those laps in this time. We just get ready for the race now. You can certainly see a very close and action-packed race ahead of us. This is going to be a good one, folks. Make sure to stick around if you are looking for the Spotter's Guide. It is on all our social channels. You can spot the drivers and the liveries of each team there. Here we go then. This is going to be an interesting one. All dry conditions, despite the Ardennes region of Spa being where the most annual rainfall happens on a yearly basis. We're on a rolling start. Here is your grid for the Formula Virtual Racing 2 Hours of Spa Francorchamps. If you're unsure the way this is working, these drivers will complete a 1-hour race, and the second driver will complete another 1-hour race. The times will be all added up at the end. We are getting ready to go here in Belgium. It is for sure going to be a good one. We're rolling, but we are not going yet. Seems to be an issue at the back with one of the machines there. It will be Ridwan Hamza who will lead us away from the rolling start through the bus stop chicane. 2, 1, and we go racing in Belgium. It is go, go, go for the 2 hours of Spa-Francorchamps. 1 hour for these drivers, 1 hour for the other, and we are going. Some temperature into the tyres for the Aussie in front. Has that car has not got away at the back. That is really disappointing for that car. They will most certainly not be winning this Grand Prix, as that car will have to, unfortunately, not participate in the first hour of this Grand Prix. Ridwan is away and rolling up Eau Rouge, and Radion flying through there. That is very unfortunate for the PS Racing Porsche at the back. They'll still complete this race. They'll get the other driver in for the second hour, but that is not good, unfortunately, for him. That is Liam Redmond, that is the youngest member of this crew as well. He'll be really disappointed in that one. Ridwan, 1.5 second lead already. Couple of penalties early on. No real battling, as it is not really expected when you have these rolling starts. But Carlo Durante has got a bit of a run on Leroy here, the Prema AMR machine. Carlo Durante almost winning the Motion Racing League Tier 2 title. Was just beaten by teammate Aston Lewis. Them two have teamed up for this one in the Prema AMR team. And it looks like there is a little bit of battling with the Beasting Racing machine. Bill Nowick is trying to move down the inside of Salem, getting all wide there for P13. There's been someone's had some sort of a spin at the back there. That was Brendan White, who seemed to have a bit of a mistake on the launch start. Lewis McWilliam holding his own so far in the early parts of this Grand Prix. Second position for the Avengers Racing Team machine. It will be a little bit monotonous until we get going into the tyre wear section of the race. The tyres get absolutely horrible around this. It is really dreadful feeling on the car when the tyres start to wear in these GR3 machines. Bit of a gap developing already in the front three, but it is some penalties early on. Then penalties you see are for corner cutting. If the driver does exceed the track limits, that is unfortunately what happens there. But legend is right on the back of the British Empire Racing machine. If you're within a second after the rolling start, they're doing really well. And there's a side-by-side here very early on. It is Thomas Mengens and Ben Driscoll. Thomas Mengens has got the position there, but they're still battling into the bus stop chicane. Some not so great camera angles early on, but battling into the bus stop chicane. Thomas Mengens gets the move done and takes that early P7 for the Mustang Mafia Racing Team. Excellent name, excellent livery, and an excellent overtake for the Dutchman, getting past Ben Driscoll there. Jack Redmond already looking for a move on Lewis McWilliam. The camera angle will change there. We'll try and get that sorted for the remainder of the race. Here comes Lewis through Eau Rouge and Radion. That Castrol Racing, Bono Racing 2 machine is right on the back of the Scotsman. Here comes Jack Redmond round the outside on the Campbell Straight. It's a difficult move to pull off. We've seen some fabulous moves up here. Mika Hakkinen being a notable one. But Jack Redmond, the man who can actually speak Finnish, speaking of Mika Hakkinen, has got the move done on the Avengers Racing machine and is up to second. Very early overtaking, but could be crucial towards the end of this Grand Prix. Excellent overtake from Bono Racing number 2. Bono Racing, the only two who have it on there. The only two teams who have two cars on the grid, unfortunately. Not one with a double entry, but that does bring a possibility of many different cars on the podium. That's Jackson Turner pressurising Victor Larsson for P number 4. And is oh, he's a spin on Pujon, and it's a mistake. The first mistake of the race really goes to Jackson Turner. He has had a slide. It's very well caught, I must admit. It is very well caught by the British Empire Racing machine. He's going to find himself under pressure from Legend Rosenberg behind, but the fact that car has not scraped the wall or even had a spin is a miracle. That is fantastic driving by the experienced Brit. Very good in a NASCAR. So that is excellent racing from him. NASCAR will have a few slips and slides, and his experience has really shown to save that car. That's very lucky for the British Empire Racing machine, but Ridwan Hamza is storming at the front of this grid through 2.8 seconds ahead of Jack Redmond. Jack will be pushing with all his might to catch up to the Aussie, but the Aussie just looks cool, calm and collected at the wheel of the Bono Racing 1 machine. Of course, if we wanted to go through some of Ridwan's titles, it would probably take a moment. He has won 15 online championships, top 10 in Australia for the FIA Nations Cup, the entire of Australia, folks. That is very good for him, and he's the Motion Racing League World Drivers Champion. He's doing excellent. There's a battle, I believe, here for P number 7. It is Benjamin Driscoll, who is under a bit of pressure from Thomas Mengens, Carlo Durante, and Leroy Van Schendel in P10 for the Voluta Racing team. A fabulous multicoloured Mercedes there. Was Mercedes normally known for a bit of a boring livery? This one certainly is not. A very interesting bonnet on that car. Carlo Durante could look for a move here. This car, the Aston Martin DV12. Down the inside of the only Mustang on the grid. He's gone for the move into Lake Combe. Side by side, very tricky in a GT car. Bit of contact. Well, Carlo Durante gets the move done. And is it confirmed into Malmedy? It is for the Italian coloured Prema machine. It's an excellent move, but Thomas Mengens is no slouch and will keep one down the inside. Bit of contact, but Carlo Durante holds it round the outside. Fabulous racing from these two. A little flash of the lights from Thomas Mengens, but Carlo Durante will keep the move as the Voluta Racing team car getting all out of shape in the back there. Thomas Mengens, is he going to try one up the inside of the Pujon? Not a clever move if he does go for it, and he's going to have to back out there, unfortunately. Thomas Mengens could not keep that one there. There is some brave things you can do in a car that isn't brave, it is stupid, and he has made the correct decision to stick behind Carlo Durante here. Lots of long straights. He'll get another go at him for sure. It's Legend Rosenberg picking up a few penalties and seems to be struggling a little bit in his Honda NSX. He's hunting down Jackson Turner, who had that bit of a slide through Pujon. He'll be hoping to clean it up a little bit. Lewis McWilliam also not managing to keep with the Bono Racing 2 machine of Jack Redmond, the Wexfordman, pulling away here from the Scotsman. There we go, the camera has been fixed to the race directors. It is all sorted now. We can go for some fantastic cockpit shots. We'll go for one now. Up Eau Rouge, Lewis McWilliam in the Avengers Racing Supra. Very difficult corner in the GT car. You can see him hanging out of the wheel there. I believe this battle will continue between... Or do we have the first pit stops of the Grand Prix? I believe we may. No, not yet. We would have some early pit stops. I believe we will see the trigger pulled first, probably by this man in front, Ridwan Hamza. He has excellent room to wiggle on the soft compound tyres, as is Jack Redmond behind him. Of course, if you're wondering where you can check out the tyres, if I'm not saying it, if you look at the little car display on the bottom left, just beside the fuel gauge, it'll be popping up and down a little bit during the Grand Prix. You can see the tyre wear, and on top RS is racing soft and RSS will be racing super softs. Is there anyone on the super softs? Yes, Legend Rosenberg on the super softs there. You can see it's an SS, you can see his fuel on the right hand side. He's looking good, looking comfortable in terms of fuel. Is the very experienced Dutchman on that Honda NSX. But his pace is not really keeping with Jackson Turner in front. He's hoping just to settle down a little bit into this race. An important thing in endurance racing, you have to settle down and you have to be consistent. And a lot of drivers seem to be struggling with that early on. One of them seems to be Lewis McWilliam. Have a look at his lap times on the right hand side. He improved on his last lap, but it was not so consistent up until then. We're heading onto the 5th lap of the race. I know laps very long around here. That's why we have been racing for almost 10 minutes, 51 minutes remaining here in Stint 1 of the Formula Virtual Racing 2 hours of Spa-Francorchamps. We'll be getting some drivers and teams into the commentary box soon for a quick chat. Some drivers who will be driving in the next stint. What we can expect now, though, is Seb Millsy to go for a move on Leroy Van Schendel here. Seb, you'd expect to be a bit higher up than P9 on board the Minty Racing Nissan. He's expecting to be a little bit high up. He's gone for a move. Oh, no, he's not pulled that one off well. Bit of contact made. Thankfully, he's not been sent around. The Voluta Racing Team car of Leroy Van Schendel was definitely not expecting that one. That was a very late lunge from Sebastian Mills, but we'll see what he can do. He's gone down the inside into La Source. Has the Mint Racing Nissan hasn't pulled it off here. The number 58 Mint Racing Nissan has not pulled it off here, and he'll get a run down to Eau Rouge on board with the front wing of this car, quite literally. Can he get a run down to Lake Combe? Lake Combe, the chicane at the end of the Campbell Straight, of course. He's struggling a bit up Eau Rouge, but he could get a go here. We'll see what he can do. Here comes Sebastian Mills, gonna try a move. No, it's just not close enough. That car just doesn't have the straight line speed. He could still go for it. Here comes Sebastian Mills into Lake Combe. It's a wonderful move down the inside, but that's excellent driving by the Dutchman to just keep his cool, let the driver in front make the mistake, and you slip your way through. That is excellent racing by Leroy Van Schendel. That's an audacious move down the inside by Seb Mills. We were just talking about that move from Leroy Van Schendel. Seb Mills has pulled off an even better one. Excellent racing from the Mint Racing Nissan. He's up to P8, needs to pull a gap on that Mercedes, as the Mercedes will probably be the quicker car through the corners, as you can see through Pouhon there. The Nissan, it's such a wide car. It is quick down the straights, it is quick and bulky, but it is not really good through the corners, as you can't imagine. Leroy Van Schendel in that Mercedes, though. Mercedes building an absolute peach of a car behind him. Look, he's on the outside already into Campus. He's looking for a move very early on as the Voluta Racing Series of Leroy Van Schendel, but he just can't make a move. We'll go on board with the cockpit of Leroy now. Oh, you can just see him really struggling there to get the car around the outside. Excellent racing from these two, having a right scrap for P8. They know this is what all the fans came here to watch. Some fantastic Grand Prix racing. Seb seems to be ghosting a little bit. I think that's just an issue on his end. He could have an unseen penalty, we believe is there. This is a fantastic battle. Two great drivers battling around a great circuit. Lap 6 here. No pit stops just yet. Leroy pushing the Nissan up Eau Rouge. This is fantastic racing. Could receive a little bit of a penalty for a bit of a corner cut up the top of Radillon, but he's going to go over the outside. He has the slipstream. The slipstream's powerful, especially when you're behind that absolute really wide Nissan, and he's passed into Lake Combe. Is Seb going to keep the car in? He is going to keep the car in. It's a lunge. It most certainly is a lunge, but they are side by side, and Seb Mills will keep the position, but he's going to be struggling through the corners. Look at the tyres, they're about even here. Salem Haddad could look to get involved. You can see the Bee-Sting car in the background there. He'll definitely be looking to get involved in this one. Fantastic battling. We will be back. But if we go up the front, it is Ridwan Hamza leading the 2 hours of Spa-Francorchamps by 4.5 seconds. The Aussie is looking very comfortable in the Bono Racing 1 machine. Some fun facts about Bono Racing. They have entered 2 endurance races. Oh, he's wide! He's wide here! Ridwan taking a very wide line. Just as we were saying how cool, calm and collected he was. He makes a mistake, and that will be the first commentator's curse of the day. There's a 5-10 penalty to add to your troubles, Ridwan, and he's off again! The Bono Racing 1 car not looking as cool, calm and collected as he once was about 20 seconds ago. Will we see him into the pit lane? No, he will stay out, so he's feeling fine on the tyres. He obviously feels that was just a personal mistake. Jack Redmond has clawed in about 0.3 of a second from that, so not too much for Ridwan to lose. He will lose another 4, serving the slowdown penalty. But overall, still leading by 4 seconds. He's not looking too bad. So now we can run through the Bono Racing statistics. They entered the GPRL 24 Hours of Le Mans. That was with Avesta Gobadi and Aaron McFall at the wheel as well. They won that. The VRL team tournament. They won that. That's a 100% win rate, folks. But first pit stop of the day belongs to Legend Rosenberg. Let's see, is it a good stop by the Honda NSX crew? He is on the supers, so we should see a few more super runners, pitters, into pit lane shortly. Here he is now. Will there be fuel going aboard the SB Racing machine of Legend Rosenberg? There's the tyres. There is no fuel on... No, there is fuel on board there. We can see in the gauge. It's only a little dash, so it's just to keep him on his way. He's gone with the softs. Ben Driscoll into pit road as well. But I imagine he will be for the same. 4.1 the gap now, and he served a 10th of that penalty. Ridwan controlling the slowdown well. Lewis McWilliam, on the other hand, has actually been overtaken by the British Empire Racing machine of Jackson Turner. Jackson, very good in recent form in terms of all his other races. He's looking good here today. It was a very shaky start, of course. We had that slide through Puhan, but he is looking good so far. Lewis struggling a bit. He does have Victor Larsson of Funny F1 Racing. Funny F1 Racing, of course, sponsored by the popular F1 statistics page, Funny F1. He's controlling the race well. Funny, getting over just getting over a broken arm, actually, so he's driving very well considering that is Victor Larsson. The Dutch sponsored Funny F1, he's Swedish, but it is a Dutch sponsored car, and there's been a mistake somewhere for Jack Redmond. He has lost a second to Ridwan Hamza, who has served his penalty as well. He is once again looking cool, calm and collected, although the last time I said that he went off the circuit, so we're going to hope to avoid that phrase for the rest of the hour. We'll cut back to more battling. It seemed like there was a pit stop somewhere along here, because Seb Millsy is on his own in the circuit. He was fighting with Leroy Van Schendel. Leroy Van Schendel is looking to get past Bill Nowick, the American representative on the grid in the Vodafone Chromophone sponsored machine. That is a fantastic livery, is the Vodafone livery, but the car is not running too well so far in the early minutes of this Grand Prix. 43 minutes to go. Leroy pushing him in and out. He's got to go down the inside of Bill Nowick. It should be an easy move for the Mercedes. He is superior on pace in this race, and the VRS machine gets past. That's not bad racing from Leroy Van Schendel. Really been the standout in terms of overtaking so far. Of course, the standout in pace is probably this top 3, but Leroy Van Schendel is looking very well, and Salem Haddad is gaining in on Seb Millsy as well in the Bee-Sting racing machine. No more pit stops. Brendan White unfortunately struggling at the back. He's made a pit stop. He is 1 minute and 34 seconds behind our leader Ridwan Hamza. There was some sort of collision there at the start of the race. We didn't quite catch that one here on the stream, but he has struggled really in the opening section of this race. Carlos Llorente, however, has not really struggled in the opening section of this race. He's up to 6th. He is driving very well in the Prema AMR machine. He's on the super softs. I would not count out a pit stop on this lap. He could most certainly do it. to get him through the next section of the race. That's the opening section done. Endurance racing is a cruel one and a really, really good one for drivers, because they'll start to struggle. All of them will start to struggle. There's the mental game as well as the physical game. Well, we're just going to go on board in the cockpit of Ridwan Hamza for a few moments' time. See what the Aussie is doing for Bono Racing number 1. Couple of pitters there. We're going to go off the cockpit camera. Jack Redmond into the pit stop. He was currently running P2, and that is the first of our soft pitters into pit road. The VRS crew asking where's Leroy. The grid will be a bit shuffled up for the moment as all the pit stops are taking place. But here comes Jack Redmond and Bono Racing number 2, the Castrol sponsored Toyota. He's getting fuel put on board that car as well. Victor Larson also into the pits for the soft compound tyres. Jack Redmond onto the softs. Good for stint for him. He is now out behind the beasting car of Salem Haddad, just in front of Thomas Mengens in the Mustang Mafia Racing machine. It's a good car, this one. Running well is the Mustang. Thomas Mengens hoping to keep this good form up. He is doing well. Luke Etheridge in the car later for the Mustang Mafia team. Certainly experienced driver who's getting in the car. No slouch, of course, as Thomas Mengens has actually, I believe, made 2 pit stops already. You can see just on his timing graphic on the side. So that's an interesting one for the Mustang Mafia team. Flashing his lights quite a lot. Must just be hitting that button accidentally, and it looks like the Rally Master proving some rally skills as he's decided to drift through that corner there. Back up the top though, it is Ridwan leading now by 12.9 seconds over Jackson Turner in the British Empire machine. Of course, a lot of pit stops still to be made. Seb Millsy, one of them. We've seen a great battle between him. We are 20 minutes into the Grand Prix now. It's been a fast 20 minutes. It's been an excellent 20 minutes. Of the 2 hours of Spa-Francorchamps, we do hope you're enjoying the live stream so far. And the race, it has been an excellent one, as we've said many times before. If you do want to check out the Spotter's Guide, you can check our social channels. And someone has posted them up there. Will we see one of these cars into the pits soon? I imagine we'll see Jackson Turner in eventually. Although he seems to be really good on tyre wear in that Aston. The Aston, of course, a suitable British car for a very British livery. He's managing the tyres well. Lewis McWilliam not doing as good a job. You can see that front left is absolutely shredded on the Avengers Racing machine. But we've started lap number 10 of this Grand Prix. There won't be very many laps. I can't think we would see anyone really lapped here. The only one would probably be the Dutch Irish Esports machine, which is, apologies I say that, is very close to being lapped and going a lap down as it is. That car is struggling quite a bit. There's the blue flags. Here's Ridwan Hamza, and there is the car in front. Ridwan, though, seems to be struggling now anytime we do go on board with him. Very twitchy on the steering wheel, which is not good for that Supra. That needs to be very smooth. It seems to be Jack Redmond and Salem Haddad. Salem Haddad just conceding position. He knows Jack Redmond is much faster, and that is clever endurance racing from Beasting Racing. If there is a driver much faster, just let him through. No point losing time for yourself. Salem Haddad running well on a different strategy to a lot others. He is doing really well, but we'll go on board with the other Supra, Jack Redmond, now for a few moments' time. See how he takes this next second. We just have some reports in here quickly from the Beasting Racing Camp. Salem Haddad will be taking the 2 hours all by himself. Brady Pollock, unfortunately, has had to pull out of the event. Salem Haddad will take both hours himself. He's running well, so it's not a bad choice from the Beasting Racing Camp. But Brady Pollock unfortunately will not compete in the 2 hours of Spa. Salem Haddad will take both stints for Beasting, which doesn't seem too much of an issue at the minute. He's running well. Ridwan Hamza also running well up the front. We'll just keep updating with that gap. It is 14.7 seconds up there. Jackson Turner still no sign into the pits despite him looking a bit uncomfortable. Lewis McWilliams surely into the pits now. 6.2 seconds he's lost on Jackson Turner. He'll stay out for another lap. Good job by him. And Carlo Giranti must be feeling horrific things in that cockpit. His tyres are shredded, absolute shredded. Here comes Seb Millsy in for a pit stop. The minty Nissan racing car into the box. Let's have a look and see how this pit stop goes. Some fuel on board for the Nissan. Decent stop. Very decent stop from Nissan. They have gone for the super softs. This car will be quick for the next stint of the Grand Prix. Keep an eye on the mint Nissan racing machine that has just come out in front of the Honda NSX of Legend Rosenberg. He will be fuming. He was in front of that car by a good lot heading into that pit stop window, and he also has older tyres. Don't think he'll be catching Seb Mills too quickly unless he can't keep in this slipstream. He will be fuming, Will Legend, in that Honda NSX. We've been going on for Seb Millsy here in the mint Nissan racing car. You have a look back, you can see very close gap. Legend could attack. It's Legend sliding through Lake Combe. That Honda is not comfortable. There. He's all over the place in the Honda. Really slidey. That car is not looking too comfortable. Oh, look at the car drift through there. It's a beautiful drift, but it is not ideal if he wants to gain in this race. The car's all over the shop. What's gone on here for the Honda? It's really struggling, and it's not certainly on tyres, because his tyres are in perfect condition at this stage of the race. Oh, he's drifting through here, unless he's decided to go forward to be the first Dutch rally champion. I can't see what's wrong with that one. It's really struggling as the Honda NSX of the SB Racing team. Preston Brennan's getting that car later. He certainly won't want to, looking at the state of it now. Oh, it's all over the shop. Legend. What's gone on here? This could be why he has gone out behind the minty racing machine of the Nissan, and it's all over the shop. We're just going to stick with this one for the meantime, folks, because there is something wrong with this Honda. And I'm going to wait and see. Is he going to pit? Is he going to stay out? But there is something not good with this Honda. Unless this is Legend's obscure driving style. Oh, that's a disconnect. That's Ben Driscoll who's gone from the race. We're down to a 13-car grid. Elmery Salo will probably get in that car for the second stint, but that is Ben Driscoll gone from this one. That is disappointment. It's a position for those behind him. They won't be too disappointed in that, but that is Ben Driscoll gone. That's unfortunate for the Safeguard Turkey Esports team, that's now 3 drivers who've ended up not being successful in that car. That's Jack Redmond. Let's just take a look at him flying. Carlo Giranti, however, has jumped him. Oh no, Carlo Giranti hasn't pit yet. Apologies for that, that's my mistake. The Prema AM Walker hasn't pit on the Super Softs. Carlo's a madman. Oh no, Ben left himself. He'd had enough. Oh, that's just his teammate's not going to be happy there. And there's a retirement for Ben Driscoll. And look at Carlo struggle here. Carlo, a fantastic driver. That's a yellow flag in front of him. That is... Who is that in front of him? Oh, it's Brendan White all over the shop here. Well, it was one of the lead cars, but Brendan White is now a lap down to a good few cars and has made really the first proper mistake of the race. Well, that's unfortunate for him. Jack Redmond going to fly past Carlo Durante. And he's making moves now. Around the outside of Blanchimont. Is Carlo going to keep this car in? This is going to be a tricky move. No, has the straight line speed. We're getting reports that the B Sting Racing still could have a second driver in instead of Salem. It'll be interesting. And there's the clever choice, Carlo Durante into the pit lane after almost a half an hour on the super softs. That is a madman tactic. That is a madman tactic. Reports are saying Ramazan Razlan will be in the B Sting Racing machine for the second half of this race. We'll keep you updated on the status of that car. So Jackson was going to head off the road for a moment there. That was a very big wobble for him. Not real on-track battles, but Leroy is hunting down the Honda that we've seen all over the road. It could just be the Honda. And here reports are Ben Driscoll just could not handle Matt Audi. As that is Legend Rosenberg into the pit lane for the second stop in this race. He is the first man to complete 2 pit stops. And that is not great. And we have Aston John in the lobby. He's not allowed to do that. He will probably be leaving. Waiting on the Honda to pull into the pit box here. There's the Honda on some fresh rubber. He was running well, was Legend as well, so that's a disappointing one. He's almost a lap down now with that 2 stop. Well, we'll have to wait and see. 2 stops after 30 minutes. Ouch, exactly. It's not good for him, as here comes Jackson Turner for his first stop for the British Empire machine. Jake Marsh in this car later, but Jackson has pulled a mighty stint there. The real question here, though, is can Jack Redmond jump him? Jack has almost caught up to Lewis McWilliam. Lewis has not made a pit stop. Lewis McWilliam has now made a pit stop. He's into the pit lane. Keep an eye on Jack Redmond and keep an eye on Jackson Turner. This is the real battle on track now for second spot in this race. Jack serving a bit of a slowdown penalty. We'll see. Can you see Jackson out of the pit lane? He's passed. He is well past because Jackson is still in his pit box getting a new set of tyres on. But we believe Jack Redmond will go for a second stop in this race because Jackson is fueling up that car. So this one's interesting. He'll go for another set of softs and go to the end. We are 29 minutes to go in stint 1 of the Formula Virtual Racing 2 hours. Who's that in front of him? Is that possibly Victor Larson in front? It is Victor Larson in front of the British Empire Racing machine. The funny F1 racing car will be into the pits again, presumably. The Lexus, the only Lexus on the grid, and the Lexus is running well. A lot of sponsorships on that bonnet, but he is running well. Seth Millsy is 4.1 seconds behind Jackson Turner, so he has gained quite a bit since his early battle. He has gained quite a bit. We will have a short break for a moment. We'll be back from the action in Spa in a moment's time. Welcome back, folks. It was a very short break. It was just to fix a technical issue, but it was A very short break. Ridwan Hamza is into the pit lane. He is 30 seconds ahead of Jack Redmond. If Jack can manage to get in front of the Aussie here, it could be crucial for the Bono Racing 2 Machines race. Jack has put in a mighty stint in that Castrol sponsored Bono Racing 2 machine. And here comes Ridwan into pit lane. You know, this could be close. Ridwan is not really close. As here comes Ridwan into the pit box, and we'll see what he can do. Here comes Jack Redmond. He is going to take the lead possibly here of the 2 hours of Spa. Jack Redmond just going through turn number 1. Ridwan Hamza still in the pit box. There goes Jack Redmond past. Here goes Ridwan out of pit lane, and Jack Redmond leads the 2 hours of Spa for Bono Racing 2. And speaking of Bono Racing 2, Jack Redmond's teammate Aaron McFall joins me in the party now. Aaron, things going very well for your team so far in this race.
Yeah, it seems good. At the start, we didn't expect Lewis to be good in qualifying, and then he just turns out to be a qualifying.
Yeah, no one really did expect Lewis to be good in qualifying. He had an excellent qualifying there, but things are going well. Is it a 2-stop strategy for the Bono Racing 2 car?
You'll see.
Oh, we'll see. We're not getting that information. Okay, but it's a 7.9 second lead for Jack Redmond, the Irishman. Aaron, I believe you made this livery yourself.
Yeah. I was going through different people, asked for teammates, and then I saw Jack, and then at the same time I was going through like YouTube and I saw that rally car, so I just did a livery.
Yeah, because it's an absolutely fascinating car. But if you stay with us for a moment, we will be back to you. There's a bit of an on-track battle developing here, and it is the battle for P6. It is between Lewis McWilliam, Salem Haddad, and Carlo Durante. There's not an on-track fight, but they are certainly close. Different strategies. Lewis McWilliam on the 1-stop, just like his fellow top 3, who he was on a top 3 with, Ridwan Hamza and Jackson Turner. Aaron, you expect Jackson to be fast in the late stages of this race, or is your main goal to win this stint?
Well, Ridwan is too quick, so I don't think we could win it, but we'll just see what we can do with everyone else.
It's certainly an interesting race, and early reports from the car. Is there much of a difference between the tyres, or is it really just the distance that is the only thing different?
The tyres are good, yeah. We would have used the mediums if it was on the... like, we could use the mediums, but only super soft and soft.
If we take a look on the right hand side there, you can see there is very consistent from your teammate Jack Redmond. They're all in the 17s. That was an 18 there from him, but the pace may be slowing down. More consistent for your plan when you get in the car. Oh, apologies here, there's a car going slow. It is Brendan White once again just getting lapped. Apologies, I'll cut back into that question now. For when you get in the car, what's the goal? Is the goal to win this event, or do you have a target of top 5 podium?
Well, I'm not really sure. I'll just drive really quick and see what happens.
That is good. Thank you for joining us, Aaron. We'll hope to hear from you later, possibly. Actually, no, you will be in the car later. We won't hear from you later, but thank you for joining us, Aaron. That was Aaron McFall of Bono Racing 2. You've just heard there the Castrol sponsored Toyota Supra, who was joining me in the commentary box for a few moments. We'll have more interviews like that throughout the remainder of the race. 24 minutes and 1 second to go here in Spa. We are watching Jack Redmond, but we will not be watching Jack Redmond. We will be watching Carlo Durante, as he is on the back of Salem Haddad. Jackson Turner 2.7 seconds behind Victor Larson of the Funny F1 team. He's doing well, is Victor Larson, but so is Jackson Turner. There's a little bit of damage on that Aston Martin, however. So something has gone on there. You can see just a little bit on the front right bumper of the British Empire Racing machine. 2.3 seconds is the gap to the Swede in front of him. He'll be his first target to get past. Victor Larson could do a solid for Jack Redmond in the front of this race if he keeps him behind for a few laps. That'll be the first on-track battle. Although Jack Redmond's off. Jack Redmond is off at the bus stop chicane. Something has happened there. Ridwan is 2.6 seconds behind our current race leader. Jack Redmond has made a mistake, and that's exactly what he did not need in this Grand Prix. The Castorel-sponsored Toyota Bono Racing 2 machine has lost his lead pretty much over Ridwan Hamza. And it looks like Victor Larson has made a mistake here as well. Jackson Turner right on the back of the Lexus. These guys are struggling. Of course, Jackson and Ridwan both on quick tyres, and Jackson Turner is going to have a look up the inside of Victor Larson. Victor Larson is slow, he's very slow in a straight line. Jackson Turner on British Empire Racing blitzes past the funny F1 machine. Ridwan Hamza has set the fastest lap of the Formula Virtual 2 hours with a 2:16.4 so far. Excellent job by him. Of course, if you are unsure on how the format of this race is, we add up the 2 stint times of the 2 drivers at the end, slot them together. Whoever has the lowest time, of course, wins the race, as per any Grand Prix racing works. But the gap up the front is currently 0.6 of a second between Jack Redmond of Bono Racing 2 and Ridwan Hamza of Bono Racing 1. It's a bit like real Le Mans or endurance racing. It's always Toyota at the front. The 2 Toyotas leading this Grand Prix. Of course, Jack Redmond has Aaron McFall popping in the car later. Ridwan Hamza has Jackson Turner, but he's pushing the Bono Racing machine through the middle sector at Spa. Jack Redmond is going to have to do something here. Jack Redmond's going to, of course, pull some heroics defending because he is leading the Spa 2 hours. Ridwan Hamza ran the outside into Campus. Easy as you like. The Bono Racing 1 car takes its rightful lead in first position and is leading with no pit stops and 20 minutes remaining. Ridwan is in a good position in this one to take the first stint win and give a crucial advantage to Avestico Bani for later in this Grand Prix. And there's an excellent move from him, and Victor Larson just has nothing in the tyres really to keep up with Jackson Turner. As there's the car off, it is Carlo Duranti who was off at the Prema AM or Aston Martin. He is off, he's on the back of Salem Haddad. He seems to be struggling here. Of course, he made his pit stop very late in the race. As that's Jack Redmond in. Jack Redmond is into pit lane for a set of super softs, I imagine. Aaron McFall would not reveal the strategy when we did an interview with the Northern Irishman. And Jack Redmond is probably going for a set of the super softs. Yep, it is Victor Larson in. The same strategy for Bono Racing 2. Seb Millsy in as well. So, Mint Nissan Racing also on this strategy, meaning it is a Ridwan Hamza Jackson Turner 1-2. If you were a fan of the Motion Racing League, you'd see that combination a lot. Lewis McWilliam is back up onto the podium, but he'll have 3 very fast drivers behind him, one in the form of Jack Redmond, who will be closest to him, as Lewis is just there. There's Jack Redmond out of pit lane. He is very close behind the Adventures Racing Porsche. Lewis McWilliam gonna have to defend Jack now. Jack Redmond on a set of the soft compound tyres to the end. Salem Haddad is currently running in 5th for Bee Sting. He is doing a really nice job. So is Carlo Duranti, mind you. He went very long in his first stint. He tried to hold it out. He struggled, but the struggle has paid off. We haven't really focused on Leroy Van Schendel in a while. He had an excellent battle at the top of the hour. But it is Victor Larson behind them in the Lexus. Very interesting steering wheel on the Lexus. And then it is the Mint Nissan Racing down in 10th. They'll want to be much further up this grid after 18 laps. It's not been a great hour for them. Seb Mills will hope to improve, most certainly. But there is a bit of a battle going on in front of him. So he could definitely find his way back into this race. Let us know who your favourite is to win the Grand Prix. And of course, if you want access to our spotters guide, check out our social media channels. And that's Victor Larson gone. That is Victor Larson gone. And that's Thomas Mentions making a mistake in the Mustang Mafia team. He has saved it, but that's Victor Larson gone. He is out of the Formula Virtual Racing 2 hours of Spa. That was the funny F1 team. Unfortunately, being our next dropout, we are down to 12 runners in the FVR 2 hours of Spa-Francorchamps. Lewis McWilliam is already finding himself under a bit of hassle from Jack Redmond. It's Super versus Super. It is a Super 1-3-4 with a Aston Martin slapped in the middle of Jackson Turner British Empire Racing, but it is Jack Redmond in the Castrol sponsored Toyota Supra who is trying to make a move on Lewis McWilliam, the Scotsman. And give you some fun facts about Bono Racing 2 while we're waiting for this battle to develop. The Bono Racing 2 Jack Redmond, of course, the FVR Season 3 World Drivers' Champion in the Formula 1 tier. He's right on the back of the Season 4 champion, Lewis McWilliam. Of course, both the most two successful statistically. Jack Redmond has 6 poles, 4 wins and 16 podiums in the F1 tier. Lewis McWilliam, let me just flick my page and we'll see. Lewis McWilliam has 9 poles, 5 wins and 12 podiums, so that is very good for him. He's current World Drivers' Championship leader with 60 points. Jack Redmond nowhere near, but what Jack Redmond is near is passing him in the 2 hours of Spa-Francorchamps. Up Eau Rouge, up Radillon. The Bono Racing 2 machine is going to take its place, rightfully so, on the podium, but Lewis McWilliam could keep him behind. Side by side, down the Camel Straight we go. Can Jack Redmond make the move up the inside for the Bono Racing 2 machine? It's a purple sector 1, side by side. The Supra holding it round the outside, but that is an easy move. He's much better tyres than the Irishman and has got the move done. A very good move, 16 seconds to catch Jackson Turner in front. Will he catch him? I don't quite know, but he's doing very well. And is unfortunately, I believe, there's no hope really for Funny F1 to win this race, or the SC Turkey sports team. But they'll still probably take part in the second stint. But we still do have 12 runners here, so no DNFs, no big crashes, surprisingly. Jack Redmond, purple sector number 2. The Bono Racing 2 machine is giving the Bono Racing 1 machine a run for its money. They're fast. He is fast, Jack Redmond. He's catching Jackson Turner. There's 15 minutes to go. He has 15 seconds to catch. It's probably not possible, but we will wait and see what Jack can do. When he puts his mind to it, he is a extremely fast driver, as we've seen in the Season 3 Formula Virtual Racing F1 tier. He won the championship against all odds. He's won many races, as we said, 4 to be exact, and that is the fastest lap of the 2 hours so far. The 2-minute 16:4:05 for Jack Redmond. We'll go away from him for a brief moment. There's a battle developing here between these two again. Leroy Van Schendel and Seb Mills. Salam Haddad is into the pits. He was going to run out of fuel. Probably okay on tyres, but the Sting was going to run out of fuel. And I think Seb Millsy has actually got that move done, but Leroy could fight it back. We've seen great racing from these two. The Valuta Racing team, the team based off the Valuta Racing League, and of course Mint Nissan Racing. Mint Nissan Racing, the CWR Constructors World Champions, with Todd Davison and Jano Vervoorts at the cockpit of that one. Leroy just doesn't have the gung-ho in that machine to get up with the Nissan. The Nissan just very quick on the straights on these fresh tyres. It is Salam Haddad and it is Bill Nowick into the pit lane. Bill Nowick 34 seconds behind Salam. Salam didn't refuel on his last pit stop and he was almost bone dry in the tank. He's lucky to make that to the pits, actually. He'll be full tank now and he'll be good to go for the remainder 13 minutes of stint number 1. Of course, do stay tuned. We will be live again for the second stint of the 2 hours of Spa. It will be a different stream, but we will be live. There'll be approximately a 10-minute break in between the two streams, but do keep an eye because it's going to be a titanic race. Vestigo Badi will have what will be about a 25-second lead, I can imagine, over the British Empire Racing machine, although Jake Marsh getting into that car, we'll have to see what he do. We'll know what Vestigo Badi will do, and he'll be almost as good, if not better, than Ridwan Hamza in the Bono Racing car. It's been a good race so far. Let us know who your standout performance is so far. Mine would have to be Lewis McWilliam, who's driving solid in the Avengers Racing machine, 10 seconds ahead of an experienced GT racer in the form of Carlo Durante, and Lewis is doing fantastic. Let's see where Salam Haddad has got out in front of the Honda NSX of Legend Rosenberg. Thomas Medgens in the Mustang Mafia 21 car is just behind Legend. and we'll be hoping to get that spot off Legend before the end of the race. 12 minutes 44 to go here in Spa-Francorchamps. Let's go on board with Salem Haddad in the Beasting Racing. Okay, 2 seconds in front is Leon van Schendel on Salem Haddad. His goal will be to stay in front of Thomas Mentions in the Mustang Mafia car. Apologies, Listen Rosenberg in the Honda NSX. Thomas Mentions in the Mustang Mafia is right behind Legend Rosenberg. There'll be a battle here for sure. Gap between Jack Redmond and Jackson Turner is 12.7 seconds, although Jack's tires will probably drop off soon enough. He won't be as quick. I'll have to wait and see. Thank you to the viewers sticking around for this one. It's been a great race so far, and it's only going to get even better when we get different drivers in the cars. Things will change. The grid will tighten up. Not in terms of the time, but in terms of physical, they will be close together and positions to gain. Thomas Mentions is close to Legend Rosenberg, however. And he's got on fuel and tyres. He's better than the Honda NSX in front of him, so he has all firm here to get P9 off Legend Rosenberg and possibly, just possibly, catch Salem Haddad in the Beast. Thomas Mentions almost pushing the Honda NSX through the corners. He's going to get a good run on him here to the bus stop. Surely this is move done for the Mustang Mafia machine of Thomas Mentions. Side by side through Blanchimont, these two are going to go. And this is a bold move for the Dutchman in the Ford Mustang machine. Round the outside, he's going to have to go to Blanchimont. It's not going to work. He's going to have to go for the bus stop chicane, which will be an audacious move because Legend defends the inside. Thomas Mentions in the Mustang Mafia. Oh, he tries the inside. It's a difficult one. Round the outside of the bus stop chicane. It's not going to work. It just won't work. Legend defends this move very well, but Thomas Mentions gets the run out of the bus stop. He will be ahead into the source. Is Legend going to send one up the inside? I can't imagine so. He has. Side by side through the source. Are these two going to be the first two guys brave enough to go side by side through Eau Rouge? No, Thomas Mentions just edges out the Honda NSX. Let's see how the Honda is up Eau Rouge. Can he get a good run on Thomas Mentions? Oh, sliding is the Honda. That was very close, as he's got to go around the outside of the Mustang Mafia racing team. He's got the move done. This is fantastic racing. It was a great year for Holland in motorsport, but my, oh my, are these two Dutchmen putting on a show into Lake Combe. Thomas Mentions just tries one around the outside. He has to cut the corner. Contact, they've both made contact, and luckily both managing to stay on the circuit. Thomas Mentions is pushing this Honda in front of him through the corners. Just can't get close enough to make a move. We're on board with him now as the Honda is all over the place in front. However, this racing is brilliant for Beasting. 5.8 seconds is the gap between Salem Haddad and Legend Rosenberg. It was 3.4. Gap between Jack Redmond and Jackson Turner is 3 seconds shorter. However, there is only 7 minutes remaining in this stint. I don't believe he will get the move done there. But this is fantastic fighting for P9. Thomas Mengens running over the curb a little bit. He doesn't want to make a mistake there. That would not end well, as I think he's struggling just a little bit on the tyres now. He's not as close to the Honda on this occasion. It was his fastest lap of the race on lap number 20. That was after his second pit stop for the Mustang crew, although it hasn't been a too bad a stint. P9, if they can get it, will be a good opportunity for the second stint. Still flashing the headlights is Thomas Mengens. But it looks like Seb Millsy is going to manage to catch Carlo Giranti. It's 3.7 seconds. He's on super softs. Carlo on the softs. It's been a good stint for Carlo, I have to admit. He's did really well, especially that first stint. That was impressive to keep the tyres going there. But the fastest lap of the race is not the man leading the race. It is Jack Redmond. Sam Mills, 2.6 seconds, he is gaining. What about these guys up front? Jack not gaining as much, but he does it the fastest lap of the race to show the Bono Racing 2 car is very impressive here. It's doing very well, 2.5 seconds. The gap now between the Tickmin Nissan Racing and the Prima AMR. Of course, Carlo's teammate will be just as good as Carlo. It is the Motion Racing League Tier 2 champion, and Carlo is of course the fast Formula Esports driver. They both battled it out for the Motion Racing League champion. Carlo's something wrong with this Aston Martin, possibly. He's struggling. He is really struggling through the corners now. It could just be tyres. It could be something mechanical. It could be damage, possibly. There's a little bit of damage on the front bumper. That shouldn't affect the car too much. These aren't Formula 1 cars where they will just be bashed and bruised. There goes Seb Mills trying to make the move. He's pushed Carlo wide. The Nissan doesn't give him space, but he has got past Seb Mills, and he's up to P5. It has been a great recovery job in the last half an hour of this Grand Prix for Sebastian Mills in the cockpit of the Nissan Racing machine. He is up to 5th with 5 minutes to go. He will keep this spot unless he makes a mistake of his own. The gap is increasing between Jackson Turner and Jack Redmond, so Jack has had a poor lap somewhere along the line. I believe it was lap 23. He did a 2:20.0, and that is the problem there. We are going to go for the live timing here. We'll give you the circle map. There's where everyone is on the track. The 5 and 6, of course, very close as we said. Just heading up Eau Rouge, you can see them on the top of the circle there. Mills, no, however, has got the job done. He's on much quicker tyres, and I imagine it is job done there. Yellow flag in sector 1. Is that for a car in front or behind them? I believe it could just be a lapped car. There was a lapped car going over the chicane there, quite possibly. Yep, it is the, I believe it is the Dutch RVC Sports of Brendan White, who is unfortunately 5 minutes 50 down on race leader Ridwan Hamza. It's disappointing for them. They've obviously had some car troubles along their way. Jack Redmond closing that gap again for P2. He's not going to get that spot. Lewis McWilliam. Has Lewis McWilliam made a mistake here? Could that would have been the yellow flag for? The gap has come down a second, so I believe he could. He's a buffer. He's 17 seconds in front and 13 seconds behind. No issues in terms of losing a spot for Lewis McWilliam, unless it is engine damage, where the car would just have no power. Obviously, engine damage is a fairly straightforward one. But the car's all spaced out now, no real on-track battles. Thomas Mengens he's had a spin somewhere, I believe. Oh no, he's got past Legend, but he is 13 seconds behind Salem Haddad. So Salem will keep P8 in this race, bearing no mistakes from the Lebanese. It's been some good, impressive performances and some disappointments. The real disappointment is probably the funny F1 car disconnecting from a solid position. Carlo Durante he's keeping with Seb Mills here. Seb could be struggling, but Carlo is definitely struggling as well, no doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt about it. He is certainly struggling in this Prem Aston Martin, although he must love pushing a shopping trolley, because that is what this car would feel like at this point in the race. You're on board with it now. We'll go inside the cockpit of Carlo Durante. That car would feel like a shopping trolley, and that is the only way to describe it. Because the tyres are dead on this machine. The tyres aren't much better. Well, the tyres are a lot better on Seb's car in front. So there is an understandable reason. The gap up front, 8.9 seconds. Jackson Turner's not really under any pressure. We do only have 2 minutes remaining in this race. This will be tricky on the timing though, because some drivers may get an extra lap in. That won't affect anything. It will just be the race time. That will be the effect. It's a 30-second lead for Avestico Bardi heading into the final stint. Bono Racing do not win this one, then that will be a bit of a shock. Something will have to go majorly wrong for Bono Racing number 1. Ridwan Hamza has pulled an absolute masterclass to lead the FVR 2 hours by 30.6 seconds currently. He's doing really well. Here's Ridwan Hamza in the Bono Racing 1 machine. Apart from that little run-off when I've slightly commentator cursed him, he's had no faults. He's been really well, and he's coming up to lap someone in a moment's time. I believe he has lapped a few cars. I believe that could be Thomas Mengens he's going to be lapping. Oh, Brenda's all out of shape through Pujon, and he's caught it really well. That's a fantastic save by the Dutch Irish Esports car. There's been not many highlights for that car in this race, but that certainly is one. Really good stuff from the Dutch Irish Esports machine. Jackson Turner is low on fuel. Seb Millsy has disconnected for Mint Racing. With 46 seconds to go, he won't lose too much time, but it has been a disconnect for him. That's really disappointing. Although Jackson Turner is low on fuel here. He won't get it. This will be his final lap of the race. But he won't lose too much here. That is disappointing for Seb Millsy. He has disconnected there. Jackson's struggling on fuel. Ridwan struggling on fuel. Jack Redmond's off! He's off! And he's in the grass. Oh, I think that may have just been a little kick-in of the rally skills for the Castrol car, based off a rally car. I think it's just become one. Oh, he's struggling, and there could be a spin here if he's not careful. Needs to take control of this car, needs to calm it down and get this car to the finish line in one piece. Needs to just cool it and calm it. Leroy is first to cross the line. Salem will follow him in the Beasting Racing, followed by Thomas Mengens. Ridwan Hamza, though, is approaching the bus stop. He will take the win in stint 1, and he's pushing to increase his gap for Avestico Bardi. It will be a 32.5 second lead heading into stint number 2. It is Ridwan Hamza across the line. He will win stint 1 of the Formula Virtual Racing 2 hours. The first hour has been completed, and it will be Ridwan Hamza who takes race win here in stint 1. Jack Redmond is still pushing to minimise the damage for Aaron McFall. It was still a great stint for the guys, but the one stop clearly superior as Jackson Turner is actually running off the circuit. He's struggling through Pujon. It's a great stint for the British Empire Racing machine. It will be Jake Marsh who pops in that car next. Jack Redmond's all over the shop at Pujon as well. Seems to be a common factor. Lewis McWilliam struggling on the tyres as well. Let's all struggle with tyres, they're all saying. It's a mutual agreement. There goes Jackson Turner. Why is Legend doing donuts? He realises this is a timed event. Legend, this is a timed event. He has crossed the line, lost about 29 seconds to Bill Nowick. And Jack Redmond has crossed the line, 9.5 seconds to the British Empire team. Not a bad job for Bono Racing too. Bono Racing the clear factor in this one with the 1 and 2 car both on the podium. Lewis McWilliam will join next. I don't think Legend realises this is a timed event. There goes Lewis McWilliam across the line. Stint 1 has been completed. Apart from Carlo Durante. Here he comes across the line. There it is. Carlo Durante crosses the line. Jack Redmond has left. That was probably a bit too early because now he's not on the race results. He was Ridwan Hamza, the superior factor. Excellent stuff for them. That is it for the Formula Virtual Racing 2 hours stint 1. The stream will be back in a few moments' time. We will be back. Join us live in a few moments for stint number 2 of the Formula Virtual Racing 2 hours of Spa. Thank you and goodbye.